Okay, we are doing chapter 2, section 3, page 34 and 35. And we have already done this again in middle school. And this time I should probably start off by reading and then explain a few things. So here we go on page 34. A variable is a letter that stands for a number. So I'm going to pause right here and underline variable. At this time, I will no longer in our algebra class call the letter, hey, what's the letter in the expression or the equation? You're going to need to know that a variable is a letter. Any letter can stand for any number. The letter T could be used to stand for a time like 4 hours. You can write expressions with variable operations and numbers. The variable expression below contains addition and subtraction. One of the things that we actually need to remind you in your notebook, we should probably put in your miscellaneous page that an expression it just has terms. There's no equal sign in there. So the big thing to remember is when you see 4 plus t or t minus 5, t plus h, and you don't see an equal sign, that is an expression. That's why they use the word expressions. So you can write expressions with variable operations and numbers. The variable expressions below contain addition and subtraction. Equations would have an equal sign. Well, you don't see anything on this page with an equal sign, so we're not dealing with equations. We are dealing with expressions. So pause for a moment, make sure that that is in your miscellaneous page. If not, make sure you bring it up to me so that we can put it in there. Again, equation has equations. Expressions do not have equal signs. An equation has an equal sign. You can show multiplication in different ways. 3 times a, so it could be 3 times a with an x, or 3 times a with a dot, or 3 and a close together, that still means 3a, or you can use parentheses to separate. C times d, same way. You can use the x, the dot, put them close together, or separate them with parentheses. Show division with a fraction bar or division sign. So if I'm going to do 4x divided by 5, I can show it like this with a fraction bar, or I can use the division. As you see, 4x2 was the first term given, which means in division it goes on top if you're doing the fraction, and it goes first if you're just using the division sign. So we're going to do 3 examples, and then you're going to do page 35. Example number 1, complete. XY means X, Y, and then notice in the middle there's a question mark. They want you to replace it. Well, down here, XY means X times Y. So instead of putting the question mark in, you actually just need to put in the dot, all right, for this. Now, again, up here we showed you several ways. You could use an X if you'd like, but you can use the dot. I would not refer to putting X and Y close together because that's what they're already having there, and they want that separation. They want you to understand that X and Y close together means to multiply. So I would prefer the dot or an X in this space where this question mark is. Pretty simple, and you're going to find our work on the other page, 1 through 16, is going to be that simple. Example number 2, complete. 3s squared means 3 blank s blank s. So the question marks are blanks they want you to fill in. So 3s squared means 3 blank s squared. Well, you're going to multiply. So again, a times or an x here would be representable. And then continuing on, the s squared means s times s. So now we broke this expression down. We broke it down from the 3 and then from the base s to the exponent 2, which means there are 2 s's, which they've done right here. And what do? Well, just like any other exponent, we multiply the exponents. So what's missing is one multiplication and then a second multiplication. So in your answer, you would have dot and a dot or an x and an x. Make sense? Example number 3, complete. Negative 3x divided by 2 means 3 blank x blank 2. All right, well, what'd you do first? Well, you're going to take 3, and what's missing is the times because it's 3 times x first. I said negative, but it's not negative, it's just 3. My apologies there. But 3 times x first, so we get 3 times x. And then what are we going to do with this 2? Well, we have it set up over a fraction bar, which means we're going to divide. So you could do this division symbol, or you could do the slash as well for division. And you'll find in the bookwork today, you'll probably want to use the slash. All right, so we're moving over to page 34 to do the work at this time. And I would simply write out the problem today. So if number 1 was the problem, oops, sorry about this. I'm doing this without a mouse at this time. So it's 3y, and I guess let's not have you write that out. Let's do this. Let's do 3. I'm going to erase it just a little bit here. Let's do a blank underneath. Well, you guys won't have to do a blank. What's just missing in the middle? So it's going to be 3 and a y, and you have to replicate 3y. Well, you should be able to put an x here in your answer, or you can have 3. You can use the asterisk button on your keyboard as well, or you can also use the dot, which there's not really an effective dot on your keyboard. It would be a or would be a period, but that's too low. So I would, for number 1, write out my problem 3 with an x and a y to indicate that 3y is 3 times y with an x in the middle. Let's take another one down here. Let's do number 8 really quick. So I've done number 1. Let's take a look at number 8 just to kind of give you an example of what else you'll see. So you're going to have negative 8 plus 3 means, or is that a plus or is that a division? That appears to be a plus, yes. 8n plus 3. So I'm going to take my negative 8, and what is in the middle of the what's between the n? What's indicated between negative 8 and n? Well, we know that's negative 8 times n. So again, you can use an asterisk, x, or a dot. I am going to use an x right here. So negative 8x, and then we have to, between the n and 3, figure out what we're going to put there. Well, that's pretty simple because it's just a plus. So you're just going to say addition sign and 3. That is all you have to do. It's that simple on number 8. Okay, so I'm looking for 2 things here. I accidentally, let me guess I forgot this part. It's going to be 8x times n. That's what you should be missing. And then plus 3. So the 2 things that I'm looking for in this answer is going to be this plus and this x, which indicates multiplication. And just like number 1, I'm going to either be looking for you to write the x or the dot or asterisk, sorry about that, there to indicate multiplication. Write out the problems 1 through 16, and then just what operation is missing. Be very, very careful. Careful, okay? Like number 16 gets a little tricky. You are not doing the tan box, and you are not doing 17 and 18. All right, you may begin.